Alright, here's our pears. Hi, it's Exploring John. Today we're going to make pear wine. I picked some pears from my dad's pear tree and we're going to use it to make wine. Here's our pears. We've got 18 pounds of pears here. By the time we have them all cored out, we'll have it down to 15 pounds. Here's our pears after they've been washed. Here's the process of coring the pears. So we have a little pile of pears to core here. Here's our 18 pounds of pears after they were cut up. We end up getting almost 3 pounds of waste. Now we're going to put them through a juicer. We took our pears and we cut them up and we're going to run them through a juicer. Instead of putting them whole in the vat, we decided this time let's try juicing them. And they're juicing up really easy. Almost a full container there. The juice comes out the bottom there, and the pulp comes out at the end. And it's kind of like applesauce, or in this case, it's pear sauce. It is good to eat. It has a crunchy consistency to it. So maybe we'll get 2 products out of this one batch. Something to eat and something to drink. See that pulp coming out at the end. Our pear sauce. This pear sauce doesn't have any cores or seeds in it, as we've already cut it out. Alright, now I'm putting in my chemicals. I've got 7.5 teaspoons of acid blend, 5 teaspoons of yeast nutrient, 2.5 teaspoons of pectic enzyme, and 1/2 teaspoon of tannin. Before I stirred in the sugar, I threw the hydrometer in there and took a reading. I came up with a 7 on the alcohol scale. Now for our sugar. Got a 4-pound bag here we're going to add to start. Now for the next one. Now we'll know it will take this much sugar. Then we'll get a measurement to see exactly what we'll need. Now I'm going to get down here and stir in all that sugar and chemicals. Get it all mixed in. Yeah, I'm not really finding much sugar on the bottom. It's all pretty quick. After stirring it all in, I took another reading. Looks like we're sitting at 11.5, maybe 12, somewhere under the bowls. But that's a good starting point. So the pears and 8 pounds of sugar looks like it's the right amount for us. I've got a glass here with some water in it, about 100 degrees. It's not hot, it's not cold. About 2 fingers worth. Then I have my yeast. We're using that EC 1118, which is a champagne type yeast. We're going to pour it in this glass of water and let it sit there 10 to 15 minutes and hydrate. Alright, here we go, pouring it in. So we look down there and we see it just sitting on top of the water. If you look close, you can see it falling down to the bottom. Then it'll start coming back up. Now we're going to put a piece of paper towel over it and let it sit there. As we see, they've fallen down and it's almost all the way up to the top of the water level. But they're hydrating. As we look at the glass, we can see that the yeast has risen again. That's it being activated. So now we see a spot at the bottom that looks pretty clear. but it'll start cycling up and down. Matter of fact, here it looks like a little drop there. I've got a scoop of juice. It's called must now. We're going to add that in with the yeast so the yeast can start getting used to that mixture. We'll come back in 2 hours and do it again. Alright, we're back to add some more juice. But because our glass is so full, we've got another container to put it in. A bigger jar. So we pour it in. Then we'll pour some of this juice into this cup to kind of get the rest of the yeast. Swish it around and pour that in. We'll put our piece of paper towel over it and let it set for another couple hours. Alright, it's been another 2 hours and we're going to pitch our yeast. So here we go. There we're inoculated. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow. Alright, here we are, day 2. We're going to lift the lid and see what we got. So it looks pretty good in there. We're going to punch down the cap. Get some air in there. You may have noticed yesterday when we poured in the yeast, there were some bubbles in here already. That would have been a natural yeast, but we felt our yeast would overpower it, would take over and continue to ferment this. As we look at the hydrometer, we can see it looks like it's down to a 10. So it's dropped a couple of points on us. See you tomorrow. Okay, here we are, day 3. Take a look at our must. Looks pretty good. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, looks like down to a 9. Let's give it a stir here. Punch down that cap. That's what we want to see, is a drop on a hydrometer. So it's gone from a 10 to a 9. We'll come back tomorrow and stir it again. Alright, we're back. It's day 4. Open up the vat. Look at our must. We see a very thick cap on this to punch the cap down. There, we got some foam. Seems like different things that I ferment, the foam will look different. This one's looking pretty good now. See where our hydrometer is. Look at our hydrometer. It looks like it's down about an 8. Okay, things are looking good. That's it till tomorrow. Here we're back. It's day 5. Still got a nice head on there. Look at that. Go ahead and punch it down here. It's been a thick cap every day. Get our air in there. Okay, now we'll get a reading. As our hydrometer goes around, we take a look at it, and it looks like it's down to a 7. So that loses another point or so. The way it's going, probably a couple days we'll be racking this. Alright, see you tomorrow. Here we are, day 6. Look at that white foam. During the day, we've peeked in it a couple times. And amongst all these little balls of yeast, we started seeing foam come up. And during the day, it's turned almost white. We'll peek at our hydrometer here. Find the right scale. So it's down to a 6. We'll give it a stir here. Not much of a cap on it. We had those, it's like foam balls, yeast balls. And it's kind of exchanged that for the white foam today. Alright, see you tomorrow. Alright, we're back. It's day 7. Look in. These little white bubbles. We look at our hydrometer. Looks like about a 4. We'll be racking this tomorrow. Go ahead and give it a stir. Not much of a cap to punch down, it's just foam. Just little white bubbles. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow to rack it. We're back. It's day 8. Today we're racking it. We look at our hydrometer, and it's sitting at a 3. And we want to rack it between 3 and 4 usually. Put our racking hose in. Alright, now we're going to start the racking. We're going to take a paper towel and kind of lock this in with. We're not sticking it on the bottom because we want it to get some air. This is its last gulp of air. Then we're going to put an airlock on it and keep the air out. So we'll let this fill up. Here we are. We've racked our wine. Got a little over 5 gallons here. The airlock's starting to work already. So a week ago we started this. We picked the pears off Dad's tree. We let them get ripe till they were juicy. We cored them, put them through a juicer, fermented them, and here a week later we're here with the finished product. Well, it's not quite finished. We're going to let it set in this jug for 3 weeks to a month, and then we'll rack it again and let it sit another month or 2, then it'll be ready to drink. So pear wine, fresh from the pear. See you next time. See that pulp coming out at the end. Our pear sauce.